We already know that with study visa, the money is not cheap. That's why today we're going to be looking at other visa methods that can enable one come into the UK, not just relocate to the UK, but to be able to relocate permanently, eventually work one's way towards getting the indefinite leave to remain and then the British passport, right? And for all of the visas in this category, they have all got potensive duration. Essentially, they are all long-term visas, which one can confidently know it. Like when you're saying bye-bye to your village people back in your home country, you know you're saying bye-bye for good, because these visas will help you stay grounded in the UK. For all of the visas in this category, we'll be talking about the eligibility criteria. Oh man, English. No. The eligibility criteria, the documents needed, opportunity for your dependents, that's your spouse, your partner, or your children. And then we're going to be talking about the cost of, getting this visa, all of the financial involvement for securing any of these visas, the duration of these visas, and the potential future prospects of these visas. All right, so the first one in the category is the skilled worker visa. Okay, now what is the skilled worker visa? The skilled worker visa is the one that used to be known as the Tier 2 visa. To qualify for this skilled worker visa, one has to work for a UK employer that has been approved by the Home Office. One should have gotten a certificate of sponsorship from this employer bringing you over to the UK. And on this certificate of sponsorship, they should clearly state it, what the job they've offered you to do in the UK entails. Also, this job you've been offered should be on the list of eligible jobs by the UK government, and then you should be able to earn from this job, that's a salary. Furthermore, being that this is an English speaking owners of English speaking country, you should be able to read, write, and speak English fluently, and you have to prove to them that you have good knowledge and and can communicate very well in English language. And there are ways to prove this English proficiency, the IELTS and TOEFL, but that will only be necessary if you do not have like the GCE or the WAEC. Like I, for example, even when I applied for a study visa, I didn't have to write the IELTS and these English examinations, because I have been taught and passed an examination in English language, and I have a certificate to back it up, and that's my WAEC result. So if you have the WAEC or the GCE, an approved examination taught and written in English language, it stands as your proof of English proficiency. It's so interesting that with this visa you can stay up to 5 years before having to extend it. So whatever amount you're going to pay, which is going to be the points coming on subsequently, that amount of money you have paid is going to cover your 5-year duration. And with this visa, whatever duration you've been given as the primary applicant, your dependents, that's your spouse or your partner and your children, can also come along with you on this particular visa. To even make it sound better, after 5 years, you do not need to extend your visa. You can go straight ahead to apply for the indefinite leave to remain. How wonderful. After the indefinite leave to remain, look at you on your way to becoming a British citizen, because that's the next. After the indefinite leave to remain, you apply. I think just like the next year, you apply for your British citizenship. Still on this skilled worker visa, you can study, you can live comfortably, you can acquire properties. There is little to no limitation on this particular visa. Once you've gotten your certificate of sponsorship from your employer, you can make your application, your visa application, 3 months before your course. What am I saying? 3 months before your job start date. And once you've made your application 3 months before your job start date, it takes about 3 weeks for you to get a decision on your visa. And it's so interesting that once your visa comes out, you can just travel, and get down to the country. So you begin to settle in before your job eventually starts. So now, speaking of cost, it's going to cost you about £610 as the primary applicant. You're going to have to pay the health surcharge, which is usually £624 per year. And then you should be able to have at least, given the exact figure, you should be able to have at least £1,270 pounds in your account for your living expenses, unless you're exempt, because some companies might, put to the government that they're going to take care of your living expenses, like they're going to be housing you and certain things like that you're going to be taken care of, so you will not have to prove this fund. All you just need to have is pay your 600 and something pounds and then the 624 pounds a year. But if you are a health worker, say like working with the NHS, a nurse, a doctor, or jobs in that category, you likely will not have to pay the immigration health surcharge, because what, you're already working in the health sector. So all the payment you're making is just your visa application fee. So if you're going to be staying for up to 3 years, it's the 610 pounds for one person. But if you're going to be staying for, if your job offer is for more than 3 years, the standard fee is 1,220 pounds for one person. And then there's also a clause with the UK government. Their laws have plenty commas and clause. You have to just go through it properly. If not, you might just miss out a thing. Also, if this job you've gotten is on the shortage occupation list, that is the list of jobs that have less staff currently in the UK, you're going to be paying just 464 pounds if you are applying to stay for 3 years. And if you're applying to stay for more than 3 years, say 5 years, for example, the fee is going to be 928 pounds. Okay, moving on to the next visa category. It is the health and care worker visa. Okay, this health and care worker visa allows medical personnel, care workers, to work in care homes, to work in nursing homes, or even do an eligible job with the NHS. That's the UK's National Health Service. To be eligible to get this visa from your home country, you will have to be a qualified doctor, a nurse, a health professional, or an adult social care professional already from your home country. Also, you have to work in an eligible health or social care job, a UK employer that's been approved by the Home Office, and you're going to have to get a certificate of sponsorship from your employer with information about what your job role entails. Just as the skilled worker visa, you're going to have to be paid a minimum salary. You're going to have to earn a living from that. That is a basic salary, and you should be able to speak English, write, and understand it. And you can prove your English language proficiency by an examination you've already written in the past, written and taught in English language that you have passed, so you don't have to write any other English proficiency examination. With this health and care worker visa as well, you can stay for up to 5 years before you're going to have to extend. You can come in with your family members, like your spouse and your children. They're going to be coming as your dependents, and you can apply 3 months before your job start date. And within 3 weeks, you get a decision on your visa status. Yeah, hopefully you got the visa. On your visa status. Okay, and about cost for this visa application, let me tell you beforehand, you're not gonna have to pay the immigration health surcharge with this visa, because this particular visa category is already on the shortage occupation list, so you're exempt from, you and your dependents are exempt from paying the immigration health surcharge. Now, the only amount of money you're paying is your visa fee, which for one person, if you're staying up to 3 years, is 232 pounds, which is what you can get in a week or two. And then if you're going to have to be staying for more than 3 years, remember, for one person, if you're going to have to stay for more than 3 years, the fee is 464 pounds. And then you should be able to show in bank statement 1,270 pounds that has been in your account for, up to 28 days within 31 days of your application without being taken out for 1 day. So that's just to show your living expenses, that you can support yourself when you come to the UK, because you're not going to be depending on public funds, as on this visa category you are not entitled to receiving public funds and benefits. Okay, let me quickly add some other things you need to take note and bear in mind for this visa category. That if you're in a relationship, let's say you're not married, for example, and this applies to every other visa category as well, in terms of defining who your spouse is. So even if the person is your partner, like you guys are not married, legally married, you should be able to have evidence of your relationship, and that you guys are in a civil partnership or marriage if you are married, better still, and that you guys have been living together, as I said, for at least 2 years as at the time of your application. If you have just one child, you need to show on behalf of your children £315 as money to support their living during your 3-year duration, if it's a 3-year visa. And then for every other additional child, £200. And then your partner will have to show £285. And you all can come in as a family on this visa category and live towards getting your permanent residence and eventually British citizenship for everybody, all of you in your family here in the UK. Okay, this next visa category is an interesting one, as I see it as a very, easy process or easy procedure. I find those in this category as lucky. What do I mean? It's like you've skipped so many hurdles. So what am I talking about? The intra-company visa. So how this one works is, if you already say you live and work in Nigeria, for example, and you already work for a company, say a bank, for example, and then this same bank has a branch in the UK, you can come over to your company's branch in the UK and get a long-term visa to live and stay and relocate on this basis. So the government has broken this particular intra-company visa into two. So the first one they have here is intra-company transfer visa, and then the intra-company graduate trainee visa. What do they mean by this? So now, with the intra-company transfer visa, first of all, you can apply for this visa if you're being transferred by your employer to a role in the UK. You need to have worked for your employer that's back in your home country for more than 12 months. And if you haven't worked for them this long and they're willing to pay you £73,900 in a year or more to work in the UK, then you qualify. Whereas for the intra-company graduate training is visas for transfer to the UK as part of a graduate training program for a managerial or specialist role. Let's say you've just graduated from uni and then you got this job. Say from NYSC, for example, I have a colleague of mine back in my days of NYSC in Benue State. They were able to come in recently through this route. This particular colleague of mine did an additional course 2 years ago back in Nigeria, and now with his double certificate, the company he works for thinks he qualifies for this managerial role, and then they're sending him off to the UK under the graduate trainee category in their branch here in the UK. How interesting. So for this particular one, the graduate trainee one, you need to have worked for your employer back in your home country for at least 3 months before you make this visa application. So the eligibility for this both category and subcategory of the intra-company visa is to be an existing employee of an organization that's been approved by the Home Office as a sponsor, and then have certificate of sponsorship that tells, gives information of the role you're going to be doing in the UK. Your job should also be on the list of eligible occupations, and then you should be paid at least £41,500 on the category of the intra-company transfer, or at least £23,000 if you are coming as a graduate trainee. And on these visa categories, you can stay from between 5 to 9 years with some circumstances attached to it. So for you to have the full details of, certain circumstances, like how much you have to be earning to be able to stay either 5 years or to be able to stay either 9 years, all of the information will be in the links I'm going to put, in the description of this video. And similar to the two previous visa categories I mentioned, this one, the application fee as well is the standard £610, and then you have to pay the immigration health surcharge, which is £624 in a year, and then you should have in your account £1,270, which is termed as your living expenses. Now listen carefully at this part here. On this visa here, compared to the two previous ones, you can bring your family members, you can bring your dependents during your long-term stay on this visa route, but on this particular visa route, you cannot apply to remain in the UK. That you cannot apply for the indefinite leave to remain, which eventually lead one to getting the British citizenship. So if you have come in through this intra-company visa and the intra-company graduate visa, you're going to have to look for other methods to remain in the UK. If you intend to remain in the UK, you're going to have to seek out other methods, save up your money, because you're going to make enough money during this period, because you can even do 2 jobs on this particular visa. But you're going to have to seek out other alternative methods if you intend to. You have all the time, come on, if you intend to remain in the UK. Okay, Right, next one we have here is for the pastors and the imams. The next one we have here is the Minister of Religion visa for the pastors, for the imams. You know them, right? So this one, you should have been offered a job within a faith community, for example, a clergy, a missionary, or a member of a religious order in the UK. And you need to be employed by a licensed sponsor to apply to live in the UK. Your sponsor checks that you can do the job they're hiring you for, and it qualifies you for a visa. They'll give you a certificate of sponsorship to prove this for your visa application. Right, and it's also important for them to state there in your certificate of sponsorship how much you're going to earn while doing this job. Is it a job? Yeah, it is a job. So while doing this ministerial job in the UK, for this one, yeah, you can apply up to 3 months before your work starts. Within 3 weeks of making this application, you should get a decision from the Home Office as to your visa status. And as well as the other visa categories, you can come with all of your dependents via this route. And for you, you're going to be paying £610 as your application fee, and your dependents are going to be paying £610 each as well. And on this religious visa, you and your family members can stay for up to 3 years before you apply to extend your stay. This particular visa category is so flexible that you can do a second job, you can do voluntary work, you can study as long as it does not interfere with the job that brought you to the UK, and then you can travel, you know, go wherever it is you want to go to and return to the UK, as well as your dependents. You all are free to live your life normal here in the UK, only that you will not get public funds, which I don't think people coming into the UK have that at the back of their minds anyway. So this ministerial religious visa category, I think it does make sense. Then lastly is the international sports person. Look, this one you can apply as an international sports person if you are an elite sports person or a qualified coach who is recognized first of all by your sports governing body back in your home country. Let's say if you're coming from Nigeria, for example, your position should be recognized by the NFL. Yeah, that is our Nigerian sports governing body, isn't it? Yeah, it should be recognized by NFL, and then your sports governing body will have to endorse your application. Primarily, the UK government will want to know that your employment is going to develop your sports here in the UK, that it's going to be a win-win situation at the highest level. Right, so getting certificate of sponsorship to enable you apply for this sportsman visa category, your sponsor is your employer, and they'll give you a certificate of sponsorship to prove they are sponsoring you. Now, you can apply for this visa up to 3 months before your job starts here in the UK, and all of these are listed in your certificate of sponsorship. This visa category appears to be, you know, really less cumbersome and straightforward. It's just as good as you being a confirmed sports person in your local environment, and then you can push for employment outside of your home country with endorsements and paperwork from your home country, and there you go, there you have it. You're here in the UK doing your sportsman job. So now on this visa category, you're going to have to pay the immigration health surcharge of 624, and how much you're going to have to pay for the application fee will depend on how long you intend to stay, of which the application fee is £610. And it's so interesting to know that on this visa category you can remain permanently in the UK. How interesting does this sound? This is really interesting. This visa allows you to stay up to 3 years, and after 5 years you can apply for your indefinite leave to remain in the UK on this sportsman category. You can work for your sponsor in the job described in your certificate of sponsorship. You can do a second job. You can play for your national team. You can work as a sports broadcaster. You can do voluntary work. You can study as long as it doesn't interfere with the job that brought you down to the UK. You can travel outside the UK and return to the UK. Both you and your dependents, you and your family, can live comfortably here in the UK. But the but to it is, which I don't really think is a big deal, is you're not entitled to public funds whilst being in this visa category, and you cannot start or run a business, and while you're working for your employer you cannot pick up another job, which I don't think is a big deal. All right, so these are some pretensive long-term stay visa categories that can help you, or anybody you know in fact who intends to settle in the UK, settle very well in the UK without duress, without stress. Like you'll I'll be chilling. So what do you have to say about these visa categories? What do you have to say about relocation or relocating to the UK in general? I'm sure we all love the comment section, so let us leave it down in the comment section. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, for making this place lively, for bringing life to this environment. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.